MTN SME Hub. Link to growth. Link to success. Link to the ultimate resource for business advice and insights.
Welcome to the Big Small Business Show. In studio with us today, we've got Petru and Hannes Roodt. They are the founders of Ultimate Pet Care, and their question to me today was, how do you scale whilst keeping your DNA? And it's very obvious that you are both incredibly passionate about what you do. And you're in a classical dilemma of a business that is effectively a family business, a lifestyle business, but has got the potential to be something much bigger. And the real question that you have to ask yourselves, before all of this, is what type of entrepreneur are you? You plural. What type of entrepreneur are you plural? And are you a lifestyle entrepreneur or are you a growth entrepreneur? So that's where I start off, because to me, when we have this business that wants to grow and we don't want what growth means, in other words, the sacrifice and the stress and managing people and all the things that come with scaling a business, they're very often people who are happy, like you seem to be, and love what you do, but you're at the brink now, you're at the edge, then become unhappy. And people are scale or growth entrepreneurs. They're unhappy when it's this size, and they're only happy when it's bigger, right? So the first thing that you really have to ask yourself deep down is, which type of entrepreneur are you? And one is not better than the other. It doesn't matter. The growth entrepreneur is not better than the lifestyle entrepreneur. They are just different and require different inputs. So that's a very important question to ask before you scale. That's why I say, why do you want to scale? And often our babies, our businesses get bigger than, that we can handle. So that's an important place to start. I was very, very impressed that you have written your vision down. It's very seldom that entrepreneurs write a vision down. But that gives me a clue that the answer to my first question was that you actually are a growth entrepreneur. Because if you have a vision, it generally means that you are wanting something much bigger, right? And perhaps you just need some help in terms of the stepping stones on the way to that. So that gives me a clue. But what's very important for me is that vision is clear, it's compelling, it's detailed, it's a very detailed document that you can share. Because my question that I didn't ask you is, have you shared this with all your staff, to have all your staff read your vision? And if the answer is no, well, why not? Because that is part of how you're going to scale. Is everyone needs to understand what you all are collectively building. Then the next point to do is to start thinking about a management team. Now, I'm going to say something very controversial now, which is that I think if you're scaling a business, and you can see I've got gray hair, so you can see maybe I might come from a different generation, but I've seen this. I've invested in more than 20 businesses that are remote, that are scaling battle to scale. Because you can't get your culture across in the same way. So to me, a part of the next step is to start to build your management team. So I'd ask you, who would be the next person who would be in management, right? And then I'd come back to the two of you. The two of you meeting and having a conversation and a chat and seeing what's catching up is not a management meeting. A management meeting is from X time to Y time. It's got an agenda, and you sit like the two of you as if you're not husband and wife, as if you are business partners with different functions, and you go through in quite a responsible way to say, well, we're talking about this now, and report back to each other in terms of that. Because if you're not doing that yourselves, when the third person comes into the organization, then you are not going to be doing it with them. It's going to be just a chat. And you can't scale a business with a lot of chats. Okay, you can scale a business with a lot of what is termed rhythmic agendaed meetings. So rhythmic agendaed meetings means that meeting that you have between the two of you happens every week between 10 and 11:30, whatever the case may be, every Monday, and with an agenda. Your meeting with the next person who's going to be your manager is also, maybe it's the two of you and that person, maybe it's just you and that person, and it's agended, and it happens every Tuesday between 4 and 5 o'clock, and that's it. And so you're starting to build out this concept of a rhythm and an agendaed rhythm, and that's the discipline for scale that you require. I'm sure that the next step, which is around process, if you're a franchise, you need to be very process driven. So I'm assuming that you are process driven. But the question that I ask you now is that, have you got training, not for your franchisees, but for your employees? In other words, for that role of that graphic designer, if he or she leaves and the next one comes in, do they know this is the job requirement, this is our expectation, this is how you need to deliver, this is what Ultimate Pet Care is all about, and so that somebody else could slot in? Because if you're thinking about scaling, whether he or she leaves or stays, there's going to be another one because you're scaling. So, and that's where you trip over yourself, because you bring in somebody. I'm just using a graphic designer as an example, as to come in and they're just simply sitting there and they don't know what to do and they're trying to catch up, and it's a waste of money. Now you're trying to manage that, and you've got a whole bunch of things going on, and you start tripping over yourself in terms of the fact that you have not set up people for success in the business. And the last thing I want to talk about is around the business model. Now, you've got some classic entrepreneurial, that's why I'm not too worried about with you which entrepreneur. I think I know the answer about new shiny thing. We're going to do this and we're going to do that, we're going to do this and we're going to do all these things. I'd say calm down. Okay. Calm down, get things going, hand them over to somebody who can run with that first. Okay. Then you build the second thing, then you build the third thing. If you open up all these fronts at the same time, you're going to drive yourself into a grave, because you're just going to work yourself so hard. You're going to become despondent, and you are going to not do everything well. So if you're going to scale, find what business are you in, get the franchise piece, if it's the franchise or the other thing, whatever it is, get that right. Then build on the next thing and the next thing, and you keep handing over whatever is working to people, and then you manage those people in those roles, because you've done it, you know it. Now you set the meeting with them, and instead of spending your whole week running that thing, now you're spending maybe 2 hours managing it a week, whatever the case may, with them together. So that's you almost have to build it to hand it over. It's almost you create a franchise, if you think it in your language, around a department. Or around a function. And then that's handed over, and then you manage that through metrics. So that to me would just, I mean, this is a full day training that I'm summarizing in 8 minutes. But those are the steps that I would take in order to scale. Every time you're doing that in your process, in your systems, in your meeting agendas, you're putting a little bit of Petru in that, a little bit of Hannes in that. So your DNA is in the meeting. So when somebody else takes over that meeting and runs it with their team, it's your agenda. That's your DNA. When it's your policy, it's your policy, it's your DNA. It's you in everywhere. You're in every part.
That's good.
Okay.
Very good.
Right. So that's how you scale a business, by keeping your DNA. So I hope I've given you some things to think about. And I hope I've given you some things to think about. And as always, if you think it, write it down and make it a reality.
The Big Small Business Show, proudly sponsored by MTN Business.